About when your father came to visit you at the hospital,
Yeah.
and you could see guilt on his face, and you were saying it's not the family's fault and it's not the person's fault. Tell us about that.
So my family, my friends, they still have moments where they say, I could have, I should have, why didn't I? And it's regret, and it's guilt. It's guilt for not stopping something that is preventable. But if you don't know anything about mental illness or suicidal thoughts, then how can you help someone in that situation? If you know very little, also, how can you help someone in that situation? So when he came into the hospital, my dad, and he said, Kevin, I'm sorry, his immediate rush reaction was overwhelming guilt that I think he still harbors today. And it doesn't belong to him. It's not his to hold on to. And I don't believe it's the person who attempts or dies by suicide's guilt to hold on to either. I think that they're in a position in their mental instability where they're so unwell that they don't know what they're doing. And they have very little control, if any.
Hey, bud, how are you?
And so that guilt, it's something that we need to expand upon, in America at least, because people are dying left and right by suicide. And the families and the loved ones that are there for them, that care about them, are breaking down. And they're hurting. And their immediate reaction is that guilt. So we need to somehow campaign to wipe that clear of their minds and focus on the beauty that was that person. Their smile, like I talked about smile, their radiant laugh. And that's a hard thing to do. I've lost quite a few people to suicide in my direct life, and it's heartbreaking. And I think about it almost every day, if not every day. Some of them were really close to me, a confidant, a great friend, a wrestling partner in high school. You know, it's something that never goes away. But depending on how you, in a sense, force yourself to look upon it, you can cope. And that's what we're trying to do, is cope and provide some form of hope in these presentations.
Is there anything else that family members of someone who attempts or succeeds at suicide should know? Is there any message you want to give them?
If you have a family member who attempts suicide or has attempted, or I beg of you not to give up on that person, and think that there's a lot of people in the school of thought that they'll fight to get ready when they're ready, or they'll fight to get well when they're ready, and it's a bit of a misconception. Deep down inside of that person struggling mentally, all they want is wellness. They just don't know how to grab it, how to achieve it, because it's a lot of hard work. It's a lot of hard work. And if you are not in a place physically, mentally, emotionally to do the hard work and to stay stable, you probably won't be stable. And it's a bit of a conundrum. What do you do? Mm-hmm. That's when the family and the friends need to come around and listen without judgment, with total empathy, and we need to have family members and friends read up and educate themselves personally about whatever diagnosis or potential diagnosis that person has in their family that's suffering. And if you don't do that, you'll never grow with the person. My father, his first school of thought was snap out of it. Just get over it. You're too sensitive. Until he read a book I gave him called Loving Someone with Bipolar Disorder. When he read that, and he read it again, our relationship changed forever. For all the other people in my life, I made sure when I got well, by educating myself, that they educated themselves as well also. I had to, or else these relationships were going to fold because of the pain we were all in. Nobody wants to see their loved one go through this stuff. It's heartbreaking. So the key is awareness.
This is not a behavioral issue. This is not a personal flaw. This is your brain chemically unbalanced. And if that is in the cards for you, if that is from your genes or hereditary, and it develops, you're in a world of hurt. But it's not something that you brought upon yourself. Although it is something you have to fight. And yes, I have chronic suicidal thoughts. They come often enough. But the first thing I do is go to my wife and say, honey, I'm having these thoughts. And we make a plan. Are they bad enough thoughts to lead to potential action? If so, we're going to the hospital right now. The battle then becomes, is there a bed in the hospital? Which is just a debacle in this country and others. But at least we're trying.